Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Michael's vlog again. This time I'm testing out, I'm taking the headphones off because I don't actually need them. I was just listening to some things on my computer, but it looks like I can use the front facing camera. I figured it out. I went into the app and it let me change the settings around a bit. And you have to forgive me that the light keeps going like bright and darker. That's because it's on auto exposure. I should have set it to lock the exposure. So my exposure is kind of just going all over the place because my camera doesn't know if it's too bright or too dark. But I can definitely. It looks like it's a much better quality with the front facing camera, at least in this case. When I change the settings around, but I think I have a better quality camera on the back. I just don't know how to set it to the right one in the app yet, because usually your rear facing camera is the better high quality one. But it's okay. I like this one because the main part of the screen is facing towards me, so we're gonna keep it with that. But nonetheless, I like this setup, so maybe I'll start using this to do my live streams because it's just so much more efficient than using the cheap built-in camera and audio. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about some other stuff in this video. Now that I know that I got it working and the quality looks a little bit better. One thing I learned, during this quarantine is the things that you didn't think about that you might need, you suddenly start thinking about it when you don't have it. And one of the things I have is a tool set, that my wife actually bought because I didn't go to the store to get it. But she got me one of these because um, I wasn't able to open up certain things. Like, for example, I bought this multimeter here, and I guess I can talk a little bit about this too. And I'm sorry if my lip is catching some, slobber there. It's because it's hot. I probably need to bring this fan closer to me so I can have a bit more air because it's hot here in the Philippines and I don't have the AC on right now. But I bought this multimeter, and the reason I bought it was because I'm trying to learn a bit about grounding your body. It's also called earthing, and I wanted to see what the impacts of it would be because I heard that and I've been reading on this for a while that Wi-Fi is really bad for you to getting hit with the cell phone signals can cause a lot of issues. All these different things can mess with your sleeping patterns, and if you're not sleeping really well, that can suppress your immune system, and that's something that you want to be thinking about, especially with this virus going around. You want to get the best sleep you can get of your life so that your health can be at its greatest. So I bought this multimeter to test it to see, and I'm not showing you all the parts to it. There's like some things that go inside of this that I can check to see what my body voltage is. And when I set on the grounding it's a blanket, I guess you could call it, or a sheet, grounding sheet. When I tested it with the multimeter, it went to 0, which means that my body voltage is not being affected by the things that are around me. Meaning that the when I touch my PC, which normally would make my body voltage go up a lot higher. And I'm not sure if I'm using the right terms here. I hired a engineer to tell me what I needed to do, and then I just checked the number. And as long as the number was low, like he said it should be, I'm good. So I can't explain to you in engineering terms, but I do know that it works and that it's not affecting my body in a negative way. In terms of my sleep, though, I can say that uh, it does seem like I can sleep a lot better. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if that's a placebo effect, or placebo effect. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or not, but it does appear that I'm sleeping better. In terms of that type of situation, I would say that uh, I've noticed a few different things that seem to have changed that uh, you know has happened since I've been using it. I've only been using this probably like a week, I guess. Maybe it's been 2 weeks. I don't know the exact number yet, but I've been using it, at least a week now. And since I've used it, I feel like my sleep is a whole lot better. My energy levels, I don't know, if I would say my energy levels are better per se, but I would say that the speed at which my body heals, like, seems to be faster. Like my recovery times, like, because I work out and stuff, I would say that my recovery time seemed to be faster. Like I could be sore and that soreness will go away a bit faster. And I heard that when you earth or do earthing, your body does heal faster. Even some athletes, you know, professionals, I heard that they do earthing to help speed up their recovery. So this stuff has been used, you know, in athletics. So you know, in the professional field. So I do believe it works, or they wouldn't use it. What is it, son? Hold on, I gotta fix something for my son right quick. Give me one moment. Oh, that's okay. Sorry, it's still playing. Okay, I thought that he didn't have no more video playing, but it turns out that it's playing. He just has a little bit of impatience sometimes. He thought the cartoon was not gonna play no more, but it takes a second for it to cycle. Well, yeah. And overall, I do notice an improvement in terms of the speed at which my body recovers from working out and stuff. Inflammation wise, I definitely think that my inflammation, like you know, has went down significantly. You know, usually, you know, I have had a lot of improvement with, you know, I guess you can call it sinuses or whatever you want to call it. Um, but that's almost like a zero, you know, out of 100%. And it was already improving anyway because I changed my diet, you know, a few different things I did to help with that. But since I've been doing the grounding, man, I didn't even think about it until now, you know, as I'm talking with you guys. So for the most part, it's like non-existent. So I do believe it's working. Hopefully it is, because this grounding or earthing sheet was not cheap. It did cost a decent amount of money. So let's hope that it works, so I didn't waste my money. But I do know that this multimeter works too, because like I said, I tested it, and the number went down to zero. So you know, I think it is helping with that. I do believe they say that, you know, like Wi-Fi and some of these other signals can cause cancer. So that's one of the other reasons that I use the earthing mat or sheet, whatever you want to call it. It's because if it does cause that, I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know, so every night, you know, I sleep on this earthing sheet, and you know, my sleep is good. I used to have an issue where sometimes I can't fall asleep, but since I've been using this, I fall asleep fairly quickly, without any issues. But let's not make this whole video about the earthing sheet, because that's not what I want to do. Um, but one thing you do want to think about is just not now that everything is opened up in the Philippines, a lot of the places, or wherever you're at, you know, just make sure that you buy the things that you didn't have that you wish you would have had, and just in case, you know, this thing gets out of hand again and things shut down. Just make sure you get the essentials that you need, so that you know if things happen again, you're in a good situation. One of the things I would recommend, I'm not telling you what to do, just a recommendation, suggestion, but practice. You know what I learned from this is practice self-dependency. You know, you really don't know if everything's going to shut down again, and if it does shut down and your job gets shut out. I mean, look, right now, from what I'm hearing, and I'm not there, I'm not in America, I don't really know if these numbers are true or not, or how accurate they are. But if they even somewhat true, it's kind of concerning. I heard that the unemployment right now in the U.S. is 38 million or more, and that's not taking into account that not everybody is able to file it because they've been overwhelmed. And so one of the things I would suggest you do is make sure you as self-dependent as possible, because what this virus has proven is that you can't depend on anybody else but yourself at the end of the day. Because you know, I don't know if people believe that checks are going to be coming forever with the stimulus checks and these unemployment checks, but I don't think that's going to last forever. You know, I could be wrong. I'm not a economist, I'm not an expert in that area, but I don't think that's going to last forever. And so what happens when you're not getting any checks no more, you know, that type of thing? What you gonna do? So what you need to figure out is how can you self-sustain yourself in the short run, when if everything shuts down again. But also you need to figure out how to make a different way of living too. You know, I'm fortunate and I feel blessed because I work online, so I can always adjust and change to the situation. I'm not really dependent on one company, but I'm hearing every day that the companies are bankrupting. I mean, I just heard that Hertz, one of the biggest, car companies I know that rent out cars, is going bankrupt. Does bankrupt mean they're going to reopen or restructure? I don't know. I don't know what the bankruptcy will mean for these companies, but if most of these companies are bankrupting, and especially if you got kids, you really need to make sure you're planning. I got a kid, so I plan from the perspective of having a child. And even though I'm not in the US right now, I do have a certain, compassion for the people that's in the US because that's my home country. And I hope that you guys are able to figure out your situation. But if you don't have a job, you need to be figuring out how to work online. That's one of the reasons I changed the types of courses that I was making on Skillshare. And I'm not trying to self promote myself. I'm just saying this because I think it's important. I changed to that because I knew that there was going to be an influx of people working online. You have to, because if you can't work in person, you got to learn how to work online. And I share a lot of the information on my Skillshare account of how to, look for jobs online, that kind of thing. And even some of my family members reaching out to me, hey, I'm trying to build this website because they know I do stuff with websites and all that and whatnot. But you need to figure out what your game plan is. What's your plan A, B, C, and D? If you don't get the unemployment, if you don't get the stimulus check, or if they cut those things off, they run out of money. What are you gonna do, and how you gonna do it? Especially if you got kids. So one of the things that I've done is I started studying how to build a solar generator so that I can at least supply electricity, because electricity is important, especially here in the Philippines. If for some reason, the big companies that I work with, let's say they all shut down. I need to have a way of knowing, number one, can I provide electricity to keep the lights on, to keep the fridge running, all these different variables. So that was one of the first things on my list. I gotta have that, or and to cook food. So learn how to build us. And I know we talking about spending money here again, but there's some DIY videos out there. Do it yourself, and it doesn't have to cost you $10,000 to build a solar generator system. If you're willing to put in the effort and energy, or even hire someone to help you along the way to do that, it can be done. So that reduces your costs, your electric costs. And then maybe they're going to raise the electric costs because they're trying to make more money during this situation. And people want to make a big living. They might raise the electrical cost on you. Or if people can't go out enough and the electrical grid system gets kind of broken down over time because people can't go out and repair it as much because of the crisis, then you need to have a way to supply electricity to your house. So that's number one. Another thing that I was thinking about is, especially since I'm in a hot country, you can get what's called a solar oven. So even if you didn't have a solar generator thing, but you wanted to cook food and you don't have a connection to electric, you can get what's called a solar oven. There's so many different types out there. You can research that and figure it out for yourself. But I'm just sharing this information with you because I want to help people to come up with ideas. But you could cook food if you're in a hot area using a solar oven, and it doesn't require any electricity. It just requires sunlight, like a good amount of sunlight. Now, I don't think you're gonna get that if it's like 60 degrees, but if it's a decent hot day, you probably could cook your food using a solar oven. Another thing is, water. If there's a lot of unemployment, my assumption is that if no one is getting stimulus checks or unemployment checks, crime could go up. So you want to reduce the amount of time that you have to go out. So getting water is a difficult process or difficult task. If you have to go out in public to go get water, you put yourself at risk. Maybe you can become a target. You never know. We don't know how long it's going to go on and what the outcome is. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying we don't know. It's an unknown variable. So I would recommend getting a water filter to filter your water from your faucet at home so that you don't have to go out and deal with the cost of going to transport water to your house or put yourself at risk. Not just with potential crime, but with the virus. If you're worried about that, you can reduce your time that you go outside. So those are just some of my suggestions, that I have that I think will be really important for you. And I heard that the interest. I watch a lot of videos, y'all. Y'all probably like, man, how much of this stuff you know about? I mean, I work online, so I have a lot of time to try to, sit back and evaluate things and see where things are headed, you know, and figure out what. Because I'm always trying to plan ahead. I'm always trying to plan ahead because we don't know what's coming, and that's all you can do is just try to plan. And then your plan might fail, but at least you tried and you did something, and you can always make adjustments later. But I don't know, but I heard that they talking about interest rates possibly going negative in the US. And what that means for me and you, if you're a saver and you're saving money in your bank account, you're paying the bank to hold your money. So imagine this, we'll just give a simple example. You got $1,000 in your bank account. I don't know what you have. I'm just giving a basic number. But let's say you got $1,000 in there. So you ain't got much money to begin with anyway. You got $1,000 in there and the negative interest rates kick in. You got a -1% interest rate on your savings account. So you're paying them -1% on your $1,000. And I know that's not a big number necessarily, but you're still paying them money to hold your money in so you're losing money. So the money that you worked hard, I don't care if it's 50 cents coming out your account. Who wants to put money in the bank account and is losing money? You get what I'm saying? So if that does happen, I would assume that people are going to probably pull some of their money out of the bank accounts, those who don't want to lose any of their money. But the point is it could go negative from what I'm hearing. But there's a lot of stuff going on, man. I can't really keep up with all of it, but that's one of the things I heard about. I'm hearing that what else did I hear? There's so many things I didn't see. Me, I'm trying to process it in my brain what I wanted to say. Well, I know here in the Philippines, if I heard correctly, that Japan and the U.S. and China is all like up in the seas over here, and they kind of having a little bit of tension. I heard India and China is having some tensions along their area. So all I'm doing is just praying, man, that we don't have no craziness happening over here, or in the U.S. too, man. But it looked like things is getting a little bit crazier every day. I've been watching Africa too, and it's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on in China. I think there's protests going on and over in Hong Kong. It's just like globally right now, man. Everything is so unpredictable that you need to have a game plan. Like, even though I work from home online, I need to be mobilized. Be able to move in a snap of a finger if something did happen. Having that capacity, I think, is important. Knowing what things you're going to bring with you if you were to transport yourself from one location to another. If it gets to that point, no matter where you live at, because you see these things happening globally in other countries that you may not think it ever will happen in your country. People probably never thought America would have been shut down in the way that it was shut down, but it happened. But for those who were prepared, I know people were making fun of the preppers. They call them preppers. But you know what? I have to say, the old saying, it's better to be safe than sorry. Them people that been prepared, been stocking up on food, they didn't have to go up in the grocery stores and fight over toilet paper because they've been stacking that stuff for years. They didn't have to go up in the store and try to get food because they've been stacking up for years. They didn't have to go in the store to get no water, no medical supplies, no alcohol, hand sanitizer. They've been on top of the game from the beginning. I'm not saying you have to become a prepper, but I'm saying it's important to be prepared. Okay, up to a certain extent, it's always good to be prepared because you never know what happened. Like with me, for example, I do a lot of stuff with web design and video editing, and I'm trying to get into other industries as well. But there was one point in time where my web design business was just all through the roof, man, all the time doing web design work. But then that slowed down at one point. But I had video editing as a backup plan. And so I was able to transition to that when things slowed down with the web design. And now things are peaking with video editing. It's going crazy right now. Like every day I'm working on stuff. But I still want to have another industry that I step into because if something happened with video editing, I need to be able to transition. So, making sure you got a plan, A, B, C, D plan, maybe all the way to Z if it take that, so you can make sure you're good But I don't know. I'm really just trying to give myself a break, honestly, from work. That's why I'm doing this these live streams, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I was trying to run away from my work. I know people don't have work right now, but in some places, and I feel bad for them. But sometimes you need a break from what you're doing, and this is just kind of my way of taking some time off, to breathe, to breathe and relax and enjoy a little bit of life. But I'm going to continue to make videos on this blog. Maybe I'll make a now that I know how to use my camera as a webcam. I'm really excited because I can maybe make videos about like food that I order on the Food Panda app, and show you guys, you know, different foods that I've tried here, because I know a lot of you were interested in knowing about the cuisine here in the Philippines. What kind of foods can you buy? It doesn't have to be Filipino cuisine, just whatever. Maybe I'll make some videos and talk about the different food that I like here, and actually order it and eat it and try it. Like that'll be like that's gonna be the most fun part of my vlog. I think is like being able to sit down and like, hey man, I'm about to try some chicken adobo, which is like a local food here, and share that with you guys and be like, hey, look, this is good or this is bad. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not no exotic food eater. You're not gonna be seeing me eating some octopus or squid or calamari, whatever you want to call it. I don't do that. I don't do the balut. I don't do the durian because the smell is horrendous. I'm very simple eater, so you're not watching me for exotic foods. Okay, I'm gonna be ordering like the regular stuff. I don't even eat a lot of the different seafoods. I only eat when it comes to seafoods. The only thing I really eat is what's considered kosher fish. And I just started doing that. Probably like over the last year or so. But I eat mostly just kosher fish. I'm trying to eat smarter and healthier. So that my family stays healthy and not get sick. Actually, still to this day, none of my family members in my immediate household here in the Philippines has caught a fever or any kind of sickness. And I feel really blessed for that. But we eating smart. We cook at home quite a bit too now since everything was locked down. We still eat out, of course, as well, but we try to choose things that have vegetables or herbs in it, fruits, that type of thing. But and also making sure that we exercise. I mean, I've heard, I know a lot of people know this. They say that exercising is healthy for you, so we try to exercise every day, just to make sure that we, staying at our best. But I don't know what else to talk about on this vlog. I think I've covered a lot of ground here today, and I got a chance to test out my front-facing webcam, so I'm really happy about that. Another thing I guess I can throw in the mix here is, if you don't have the cash to build a solar generator system, you know, um, one of the things you can do is buy a solar panel that can charge like your cell phone and your maybe you got a USB based flashlight or whatever. In an emergency, if your power is out, I think it's important to have something like that for communication purposes. Um, Installing maps on your phone, like, look, I know these things may not be needed right now, but you never know. Like, I look at other countries that have experienced hyperinflation, so I'm studying that and trying to understand, what do you do? Like, what if I'm not saying this is going to happen to the US, but, I try to put myself in the shoes of different people in their situation and then ask myself, what would I do if I were in their situation? Because every situation is different in every country. And depending on that country, I try to study their behavior and what they do to survive certain situations. So I asked myself, well, if hyperinflation hit America, what would I do? Not saying that it would happen, but we do have a history that says it's possible it could happen. During the Great Depression, I'm sure the prices were not friendly at that time. So if it happened once in the past, it can happen in the future. So you should be asking questions about whatever is going on. If I was in this situation, what would I do? How would I handle it? How would I survive it? And that's kind of how I've been able to adapt to whatever happens, is that I put myself in the shoes of people that have difficult situations, and then I analyze what they're doing and then how I would do it differently and make it a better situation for me. And then I observe what the wealthy are doing. The people at the very top that's got billions of dollars, what are they doing? If they buying something, I probably should be looking at if it's affordable. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm not one of these wealthy billionaires who got just everything, but I try to study what they're doing and the things that's within my ability to do, and maybe some DIY would help with that. But studying them and seeing what they're doing, because they know what's going to happen, because they got the cash flow to prepare, and the people to put around them to know what to do in certain situations. So being observant and being well calculated. Fortunately, some of the people around me too that I know here in the Philippines, they work online, so they're not as impacted by being on lockdown. But if you want to, I think for anyone who wants to have security, I'm just going to say this. If you want to have a future job, you need to learn how to work online. Even if you don't do it full time, do it as a backup. That way, if you go back to your job tomorrow, someone that you get your job back, and they say, oh, this virus thing is out of hand again, we got to shut this place down again. Because if they keep shutting the places down, eventually these businesses are not going to keep open. They're not going to shut open. So you need to have a backup plan to work from home. That way, if things go bad again and go sour, you got a place to fall back on. And then the beautiful thing about working online is you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, you can have many companies that you work for, and if one falls in or caves in, you can go to the next one. So I mean, it's a lot of and it's a lot of opportunity. It really is a lot of opportunity online. It's really unlimited. Why limit yourself working for somebody? And this goes for everyone. I'm not just talking about people in the Philippines. I know I made a video talking about, if you're making 300 pesos a day working at McDonald's or whatever company, why not just do some courses on Skillshare or Udemy? But it's not just for them. It's for everybody. I mean, there's people making thousands of dollars a month on YouTube, and I mean, I'm not one of those guys. I don't have thousands of dollars coming in on YouTube, but I'm not putting any effort into YouTube at that capacity. I mean, it takes hard work. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat to you and say it's going to be easy work to reach that level. You guys know my channel. My channel is not for making money, at least not at this point. I will upload a video in 240p, and I won't care, because it's not making me money right now anyway. I do it because I like doing it. I don't do it because I'm in some rush to get thousands of subscribers and millions of views. If I wanted to do that, I got a channel that already got like 5,000 plus subscribers and 1 million views. I could go back to that channel today and start working hard on it, and I could start making a ton of money on YouTube. Yes, but that's not my motivator. I just want to enjoy making videos on YouTube, doing whatever I want to do, talking about whatever I want to talk about, and not be stuck in this box, and that's how I felt with the other channel. That's why I ain't doing it no more. I'm done. I'm done with that channel. I don't think I'm ever going back. If I go back, it's only going to be because I'm working on a different type of content on that channel that relates to what I was doing before, but I actually enjoy doing. I don't enjoy doing the other videos because I feel pressure to keep making them, and I don't want to just focus on one thing. So, but if you guys have any questions about what's going on in the Philippines, maybe there's something I didn't cover that you want to know about, let me know. I think in terms of flights, they do allow I think they do allow outgoing flights now, and I think they do allow some incoming flights, but I don't know to what extent that you're allowed to fly out of the Philippines or fly in. I do believe they resumed some of the flights for going in and out. I don't know about ticket prices. That's something else to think about, man. If you've never traveled yet to other countries, boy, you're probably not going to do it for a while, right? Because of the situation going on globally. You don't know if you go there, you're going to be put under quarantine. You might not be able to come back home right away. I'm just happy that I traveled here and got a chance to experience traveling internationally, because seeing a different world changes your perspective and views on things. And if you haven't traveled yet, it might be a lot more difficult for you to do that now, unfortunately. But I had the pleasure of being able to travel at least to one country and see what things were like compared to what they showed me on TV. Uh, but businesses here actually are impacted by the virus because the jeepneys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with jeepneys, but look back at some of my older videos and you'll see what a jeepney looked like. But the jeepneys can't hold as many people, so I'm assuming that affects them. They can't make as much money. Restaurants cannot have as many people. Actually, I don't even think they're letting you sit down in the restaurants. But in America, I know that uh, from what I understand, they're not letting as many people in the restaurants. But I could be wrong. I'm not there physically. I can't say. But here, I don't even think they're allowing you to go in the restaurant. So a lot of businesses are affected in such a bad way that I don't know. I don't know how you could do a business where the restaurant can only have. I don't know. I don't know what percentage you can have in there. Let's say you can only have 50% of the number of customers in your business. You can only have 50% customers in your business to eat. That can really have a huge impact because people eat at specific times. So if you can't have the right number of people in there that want to get in there to maximize your capacity, you're losing out on money. But you're still renting the same place at the same price, but you can't have as many customers. So your profits are reduced automatically by the system that's in place right now. And this probably goes for the U.S. too. I'm sure they're not letting as many people probably in the restaurants and stuff. So I feel really bad for that. In groceries too, I'm assuming they limit how many people can go inside. So the big question of the day, and this goes back to adapting and planning ahead. If you know that the company that you work for is highly dependent on the number of people that can go in, there's a good chance you probably could lose your job because they won't need to hire as many people. If your restaurant is at 50% capacity, do you need as many staff members? You probably don't. Probably gonna let some of those people go. And so you need to be thinking about, well, is my job at risk? Because there's not as many people allowed to come in this place anymore. This is why I said you better learn how to work online, because if this happens again in our lifetime and a lot of these businesses don't reopen, you don't have a game plan. Look, I, can't nobody say I didn't help. Can't nobody say I didn't share information about what you can do to help yourself in this situation. I've done my part. It's up to the people that's watching to do something. I mean, I made a video about the Skillshare stuff, how you can start making some small income immediately. I mean, I'm putting in very little effort on that. So obviously I'm not going to make a whole lot of money, but you guys can put in full scale effort if you don't have nothing going on. I mean, there's people that have commented on my channel that said they make like $100 in their first month, but they're probably putting a lot more effort in than what I'm doing. I mean, there really isn't any excuse, and I'm still gonna share these videos regardless if people like them or don't like them. It's my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna make whatever content I feel comfortable making, and no one will pressure me to make a certain type of content. But I like helping people, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make videos that talk about things that I think can be useful. And one of the things I think can be useful, as much as I don't appreciate the way Skillshare operates and the way that they acted with me, I still think it's a good way to make some side money or even some primary money. There's people making thousands of dollars on Skillshare, but I'm not one of those guys, at least not yet. Maybe if I keep making a lot more courses, I can get to that point. But you should try Udemy out as well and make some courses on that. I know you can teach something. I would recommend you try out Preply as well as a teacher. Teach. If you ain't got no money coming in right now, you could go in there and probably teach English if you speak English pretty well. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up because I'm just going and run on sentences at this point, and I don't have nothing else to talk about. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll get back to you. Maybe I might maybe I'll try to order some food tomorrow off of Food Panda. So you guys can see some of the different. And I'm not promising. I'll try. I'm gonna try to make a video tomorrow, and show you guys, some food maybe that I order off of Food Panda, and let you see what that looks like. Let you know how it tastes, if I like it, if I hate it. So if you do come to the Philippines when it's more friendly to come here, when we ain't had this epidemic going on globally, you can try some of the different foods here. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who has subscribed up to this point. There would be no Michael's Blog without the subscribers. So even though I say this is my channel, I'm gonna make whatever I want on here, I still recognize that without my viewers, there is no YouTube channel for me if no one is watching the videos. So I try to make the videos helpful or useful. If you have any questions about how to make a living online, maybe you're interested in that, I'm willing to tell you or chat with you on YouTube, whatever you want to know, ask me, and I will share my advice and wisdom with you. If you've seen my first Upwork course on Skillshare, talking about how the interface work, I share it with you guys, my background. I'm the type of person, I provide documentation. So if you look on there at that Skillshare course that I talked about, I show my background, my ratings. Like I'm not no person to be bluffing. If I tell you I can help you understand how to work online, I really mean it. And you'll see my ratings, my performance, all of that. And you'll see that it's legit. And you can check it on the website. So you don't even have to depend on the video. You can go to the Upwork website and see all that information. I'm not some magical scam artist who's trying to rip you off and all that. I mean, I'm not asking you for money anyway, so there wouldn't be any way to scam you. But anyway, if you go in there and check out my profile, you'll see that I'm the real deal, and that I really am trying to help people out. And I think that every person in America or any other country, if you have wisdom and knowledge of how to work online, you should be sharing it so that you can help out your fellow brother or sister, no matter where they at. And I believe that holds true. You can't just look out for yourself. You look out just for yourself, I don't think that's going to end well for you. You should be helpful to all people, no matter where they at, no matter what you think about those people. If you think they need help them out. But with that being said, let's wrap this up, because I like to chit chat. It's the chat hour of my channel, but I gotta wrap it up. So you guys have a good one. It's getting closer to lunch, and I'm getting hungrier. And you know what? I might even make that video today about the food if I order something on Food Panda. I don't know, because my stomach is getting a little rumbly here. So I think I need to, maybe in the next hour, I'm going to order me some food. But until then, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Make sure you give my videos thumbs up if you enjoy them. And I'll continue to make content on this channel. Until then, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video on Michael's vlog.